Hello, everybody. Surprise, surprise. It's late night on Sunday, and I had not planned on doing a live tonight. So welcome. Um, but so this is a message for everybody, including all of our wonderful senators, delegates seeking reelection, and to everybody seeking to take their incumbent's seat, and to everybody out there who is still not showing up for these children, especially um, our elected delegates. That would include J.C. Miarez. That would include Winsome Sears. That would include Governor Youngkin. That would include every senator, every delegate, every person that we've elected who is not involved in these history standards. Because in government, whoever shows up wins. And government is who's running our schools. And so if you haven't caught on how important these standards are, because you still believe, no matter what I've read to you, that these standards are not Common Core, and that we have somehow missed what everybody's been fighting for the last 15 years, you're sadly mistaken. And like I've said many times, other states that are abandoning Common Core, this has been the plan all along, are adopting Virginia standards. So after I lost my nut last week, after hearing everybody up there so self-righteous because the VDOE, whenever Martin Luther King got left out. They're revising the entire document. And all of a sudden it's whitewashing. And it was madness. Meanwhile, Virginia's history is getting wiped every single day. Like we don't exist. It's like we actually are acknowledging that our history of this country, that we are racist when we sit there and let things, especially Virginia's history. We are watching America getting wiped from history, literally. And we're co-signing everything that they're doing because we're sitting here silent like we always do. And so here's the thing, is the history standards, like I said, they are abhorrent for both ends. Okay, you've got the left driving the hate and the whitewashing, everything's racist. And on the right, you've got the right driving, not all the right, okay, but there's no politicians, there's nobody reading education still. So if you have a senator or a delegate in your division that is not talking education, real education beyond CRT or beyond 21st century skills, and I promise you, if they have 21st century skills and anybody's still talking about it or doesn't understand what lab schools or you haven't checked them on the Literacy Act, because guys, our children, and this is all children, okay, all children will be sealed into the New World Order. And because I go up and I love when people are like, she's up there talking about UNESCO, she's crazy. There's so much evidence out there like that this is all about the SDGs. I can't believe the liberals can't get off of their liberal equity asses and actually figure out what's going on because they're so driven by hate. And that's the one thing, is that the left can hate each other all day long, but they hate the right more. And so they will unite and hate us more. And that's why they win. Point blank. That's why they win. They can hate us more. But meanwhile, there's so much infighting. You've got so many factions within the people to the right of center. So-and-so hates so-and-so and so-and-so, and they want to get this bill in before this bill. And it is such a nightmare that part of me wants to be like, you all need to go, and we all need to bring new people in. Right. If they've been in office more than, I don't know, 10 years, bye. Why would you even want them there? Especially if you go back and read the history. Read what they have voted for. And I'm going to do a show this week. I'm going to break down what people say, oh, you're destroying the Republican brand. You're destroying. No, I'm trying to make it right. But the reason that I wanted to get on real quick tonight was to tell you the Virginia Board of Education is going to be having information sessions. They're going to be having commenting sessions. You have to show up. Senators, you have to issue statements. You have to read the history standards, Republican senators and delegates, because I know that you're going to watch this. Somebody's going to share it with you. You have to read them. You have to care enough about education, because if you do not, I know that you've watched me after I campaigned and helped get Youngkin into office. Now I'm going after him. I will not be nice to any of you if you don't start stepping it up about education. Because here's the thing. You can care about your guns. You can care about abortion. You can care about children's gender, sex assignment, like reassignment. But when you start getting into that area, but you still won't touch education, public education, what's happening in public education, there's a major problem. And everybody needs to be questioning your delegates and ask them, have you read the history standards? Have you read the August ones versus the new ones? Because here's the reason why. And I'm going to show you. Is because some moron who tagged me and stalking me at the Facebook at the last meeting shared this. People,
watch what's up next.
Thank you. She said, watch what's up next, because I'm bringing in a woman who has been an education equity warrior in the Commonwealth of Virginia. State Senator Jennifer McClellan is here. She represents Virginia's 9th District. Senator McClellan, the streets were very happy that you were coming on the show. I heard a lot from folks about your appearance, and I feel like it's because you have been just laser focused on this issue. You wrote a letter to the Board of Education about your personal experience as an African-American woman and as a product of Virginia Public Schools. And in the letter, you say, in part, that throughout my life, I have seen how a lack of awareness and understanding of the complicated history of the African-American experience in America and our Commonwealth has stoked racial tensions. You go on to say you learned very little in school about your state's often brutal African-American history. I have my thoughts, but why do you think that history is not being taught?
Well, because first of all, thank you for having me, Simone. And I think people don't want a true, accurate, complete history to be taught because frankly, they want to whitewash history and make everyone feel comfortable rather than learning and grappling with the complicated family trauma that is Virginia and American history.
Isn't that history also Virginia's history, though? And furthermore, American history? Isn't that how we should be thinking about it?
That's exactly how we should be thinking about it. I mean, Virginia, in and of itself, the birthplace of American democracy, but the birthplace of American slavery, both are part of our legacy. Both need to be taught and both need to be reckoned with. And the first step in that is having an honest conversation about that history so that we can heal and move forward.
So do you think that the honest conversations are actually being able to be had in Virginia? I mean, I do understand that the governor walked his proposals back just a little bit, but that was only after a backlash. Had no one said anything, I feel like the proposal would have stood.
Well, the good news is people in Virginia want this history to be taught. We were beginning to have a reckoning with our history and honest conversations. In some cases.
Real quick. Notice how many times she says a reckoning. Okay, that's very, very important, is how many times she says a reckoning.
In ways we didn't want to because of the blackface scandals of 2019, because of the murder of George.
Wait, blackface scandals? That was Ralph Northam, your beloved governor. Let's be real clear about that. She did not mention Northam, okay? She said the blackface scandals. That was Ralph Northam, her beloved governor. So let's be really clear about that.
George Floyd, but we started to have that conversation and we need to continue to have that conversation.
We started to have that conversation with our blackface governor is what that needs to say right there. So let's just be real clear about what she's leaving out.
Conversation. So I'm not surprised that people were outraged and made their voice heard, and I expect they're going to continue to do so.
So what is next then, Senator? When will Virginia's curriculum proposals be approved and also?
Pay attention right here. Where am I pointing? Pay attention right here to what this woman says out of her mouth.
Implemented.
Well, they'll be put before the board again in January, and if they are approved by the board, they will go forward with public comment and a public input session. They won't become final without that public input session, and I encourage everyone watching, particularly Virginia parents, to make their voice heard so that our children can continue to learn a complete, accurate history and not the whitewashed version that I learned in school in the 70s and the 80s.
State Senator Jennifer McClellan, thank you very, very much for being.
Okay, our education equity senator, first of all. Okay, here's the thing. I am a product of Chesterfield County Public Schools in the 90s. I learned about slavery. I am a product of Chesterfield County, formerly Richmond City Private School that is now woke as hell, St. Michael's, and I learned about slavery. Okay, so here's the thing is I don't know anybody out. So where exactly, I've read all the standards since they came in right when I was graduating high school, going to Virginia Tech. Okay. And so the question becomes how much, and this is the thing about, you have to understand about actual critical race theory and these things called like extreme change agents, is that, as I've said this before about people that want this equity driven in, literally nothing will make them happy. Nothing. You cannot satisfy these people. You cannot. There is not enough Black history, slave history, history until we are wiped from all of it. Will they be happy? And that is the truth. And that does not make me racist. Okay. That is the truth. Because every single day they erase Virginia's history and we do nothing. Nothing. They erase it and then they complain that we're still whitewashing. How in the world is that possible? Tell me. We sit and allow our history to be erased from the books. Gromsky, Hitler, Stalin, everybody did it for a country that they didn't want to exist anymore. How much history do we actually have to have? And I feel like I kind of do the same show every night until somebody actually gets it. So I've posted before, and I will post again, the upcoming commenting sessions. And I will post the standards for you guys. And then I'm going to work with the Virginia Council, and I'm going to compile a list over the last, we're not even going to include Monument Avenue. Over the last 6 months, the pieces of Virginia history that have been erased from the books, and nobody does anything. Nobody. So, but trust me, this is not just a left side or right side, whatever, I'm reversed on the camera. This is there's issues with the standards from both sides, because you've got globalism, socialism on one side, and then you've got radical lunatic on the other side. There is a happy median, and we are telling all history. Okay, nobody's trying to whitewash anything, but the question then becomes, okay, how much, to what extent do you want these children who, like I said at the Board of Education, who can't read? Why isn't McClellan enraged at the minorities that can't read or do math at the literacy rate? None of them care that the kids can't read or write. All they care about is pushing their agenda. 100%. Why are you so obsessed with the history standards, but you're not obsessed with why our kids can't read or write? I mean, it's that basic. And so it then becomes, where are our elected officials? Where are they? Amanda Chase has come out. Is anybody sending, how many, I want to know how many Virginia Republicans to the right of center, or the seat, red people, because red bodies and red seats, I'll just call them that, have read the standards. I have. 100%. Why are you so obsessed with the history standards, but you're not obsessed with why our kids can't read or write? I mean, it's that basic. How many of our elected officials have read the K through 12 family life sex ed standards? We're going to have comprehensive sex ed here soon. Well, it's coming. We have kindergartners being taught family life. Did you know that? K through 10. How many of you have actually read the standards for family life? How many have actually gone through the social emotional learning? How many people actually read this stuff? But everybody's so obsessed with everything going on except what's going into our children, your children, the future, the people who will take over this country. Nobody cares about education, and I cannot figure out why. And so I really have to come to the point where I'm done shaming people. And don't come crying to me when your children come home wanting to eat bugs and they hate you because they have been taught that America's evil and that you are a patriot and you fly an American flag, and then all of a sudden your kids hate you and you don't wonder why. Because that is what your kids are going to come doing. Or when they're running away and you can't figure out why, and it's because of the hypersexualization going on in school, because their automatic reaction is, if you can't protect your own children, I can't protect all of them. Virginia for Children's First can't protect all of them. And I don't know what it's going to take for parents to finally show up for your own children. And that's it. I'm out of here tonight. Show up. You'll answer for it later in life if you don't.